Get Unicorns of Love's 4th straight victory.
Thank you very much, guys. Indeed, still at the top of Group B, the Unicorns of Love with a victory over Splyce. And if we take a look at the last game, I do want to go back to what we said at the beginning of the show. What was something that they didn't do well? What was bad for the Unicorns of Love historically or in the beginning of the split? Their early game was never up to par, and now they were on average across the series up 2.8K at 15 minutes, where the previous 2 weeks they were down 1.1K. So that is almost a 4K difference, and that must have made a huge influence, and it did again in this game.
Yeah, 100%. I think Xerxes is actually doing really well early game in the jungle, where Trashy is struggling in these games here. I don't want to blame on just one specific person. I actually think Unicorns as a team is doing well. But Exile and the rest of the guys in these kind of fights, it's where Splyce are playing a little bit too aggressive, and then you see there's no hesitation from Unicorns of Love and just instant punishing.
The reaction is just immediate. Unicorns
and
of
it's
Love,
fast.
Yeah, that's generally what immediate means.
Yeah. I just want to like add more to like flair to your point, but fair enough, keep going.
No, but like they just react immediately and then they figure out whether it's worth going in or not. But they teleport first, think second, they Shen ulti first, think second, and that's why sometimes they get caught, but it seems to be a net positive over a large sample size of games.
Yeah, I think we just have to highlight again that the individual players on Unicorns of Love are playing really well. And I think combined, Unicorns of Love have some of the players like performing the best out of anyone in Europe at the moment. Like obviously G2 is up there, a lot of them. And I'm not saying here that Samox is better than Sven. That's not what I'm saying, but he's performing really well early on in the split. And that's something some teams are really good at. Like good off seasons means that you peak very early. And when other teams are still trying to catch up, you're just racking in the wins.
And Samox is honestly a good, consistent damage dealer from the backlines while his team is drawing the aggro. There's always somebody getting caught on the Unicorn, so the opposing team is always blowing CC on Hillsang. It feels like Hillsang is literally like a magnet right now. Yeah. And Samox just gets to move in between and deal so much damage, because every team fight damage graph we've seen, we're like, oh, how much did Exile's Katarina do? It's like, oh, 2K, but Samox did 4K. So it definitely adds up over time.
Yeah, and really interesting to see Splyce on blue side with the draft they had in this one. We said coming into the third game that Splyce on blue side would be a huge advantage, because now you can ban Ivern, Shen, Ryze, comfort picks that Unicorns keep using to win games. They decide to only ban the Ivern.
Yeah, they banned really Zyra and Malzahar again. And the worst part is Unicorns of Love actually adapted. They went for GP Rumble bans, saying, you know what, those are 2 matchups good into Shen. We don't actually care about Jace. Splyce just went for another, I guess, let's call it boring tank. Their mid lane is constantly pressured in. Xerxes gets so much room to play. And every gank from Trashy has been rather telegraphed, so the Unicorns just punish immediately.
And on top of that, also, we had the objective securement by the side of the Unicorns of Love. Sadly, for Splyce, Trashy didn't land the smite a couple of times. And then also in this game, the Unicorns of Love, they go for Baron at the right time and seal the deal in the game.
Yeah, I love the play here. It's a gank bot lane against the global, against the Shen. But they're already calling now, just go Baron. And all the CC has been blown in the engage by Splyce, so they can't even stop the Shen TP, and now it's too late. And these are the kind of calls that are super cool to watch.
And there's no teleport on the bot lane itself, so it's right that they attack the global. Vizicachi almost always takes the fight, so in that sense it's right, but then don't use both Maokai W and Q on the Shen. At least leave room for an ability to cancel this guy.
And something you brought up in the beginning of the show as well, target selection is something that the Unicorns of Love are really good at.
Yeah, and they continued in this game to do it. Multiple team fights, like the one we see now, continue with like Exile. Look how Exile is just constantly finding the correct target. So Trashy first, then he knows, okay, now Vizicachi's coming as well, moving in behind Splyce, and he's ready to just kind of switch targets over to copy. Ignores Wonder, walks by him. So many players are just hitting the Maokai here. Nope, ignores him, walk by. Chachi's calling, he's going to land the taunt, and instantly you take down that carry.
Yeah, and he's always has a good presence of mind for Realm Warps. He's spacing well, he's doing a ton of damage, and that's for that reason that we also granted him Player of the Series right now. He's just performing like a beast, and I think that's fantastic.
Exile?
Yeah?
Vizicachi is actually Player of the Series. Yeah.
It should have been Exile.
You should wait for me to give you
Exile. What's happening here?
It's Vizicachi, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I demand Baylor.
We need to revote for that one, but apparently it's Vizicachi.
We have our own Player of the Series here.
Because he plays Shen. How can Shen?
Nah, he played well. Chachi's a guy.
Well,
so
I mean, we have to. I agree. He did play Shen, and you talked about how it's a band-aid for the composition, but he also embodies all the rest, that early advantage, because they can go and group bottom, they can jump in, he can shadow. I'm not even joking.
Production's yelling in my ear. Like,
oh,
you're
we
wrong,
have to go. We have to go.
was fired. Let's move on.
We have to go. Congratulations to the Unicorns of Love, and for more on the win, Daniel Drakos is standing by with some of those Unicorn rookies.
Thank you very much. Of course, always exciting to hear what Krepo has to say. Shame he's wrong this time around about Player of the Series, but I'm not joined by the players of the series. I'm joined by the 2 rookies coming in on the Unicorns Love line, of course, Cersei and Samox. Now, I'm going to start with the first question I think is everyone's mind. Cersei, Warwick, run us through it. What was going through your head when you guys picked up the new Warwick?
Well, when he was released, I was like, wow, this champion is so cool. And the kit was kind of simple on paper, but I actually wanted to try it a few games. In solo kit worked fine. And then I tried it in scrims, and it was still fine. And I actually think it's kind of a good counter and not to Kha'Zix. So I think that's why we picked him.
So overall, continuing on the trend of Warwick there, do you think that it's kind of exclusively to be used as a counter pick to Kha'Zix, or is it pretty high up there on the jungle tier list?
I think, okay, for me at least, will be like kind of a high priority. And compared to the other junglers, okay, again, like Rengar, for example, there is no jungler that can compete with that. So I would say Rengar is tier 1, and then tier 2 like Kha'Zix, Warwick, and Ivern.
Kind of good to hear that there is a little bit more variance in the jungle tier list, although some of those, of course, permanently banned out. Rengar, rest in peace. Of course, Samix. Now, you're a guy that we haven't got to talk to quite yet, but I'm curious. You know, it's not quite the Warwick, but you're one of the few people bringing out the Caitlyn here on an international level, and I'm curious, how does it feel for you to be outside of the realm of the normal utility AD carries? What's your thought when you pick up that Caitlyn?
Okay, so I was forced into Caitlyn because they banned Jhin and Ashe, but Caitlyn was pretty good in our comp because we have Ivern, so like he can put passes on me, so I can proc my passive more. We have a lot of CC for my trap, so Caitlyn was actually a really good pick in that comp.
When you look at your compositions, do you think about the interactions like that a lot, like a lot of the ways that the champions kind of work together?
We think of a lot of combos.
Good to hear. I mean, are there any other examples across the draft we see where you guys really felt like this is a strong synergy?
Ivern will be pretty good with Jhin, or like any champion that has CC and an AD that can follow up, like Caitlyn with a trap, or like Jhin with a W, then it's pretty good.
I mean, we saw it with the Bard ult into the trap, into the net backwards, the absolutely insane headshot damage. Now, you guys have had a chance to play against the H2K bottom lane, the Splyce bottom lane, everyone in your group, and you've come out on top. So for you and Hylissang, where do you think you guys rate against the other bot lanes in Europe?
So I'm not really sure because I didn't play the other group yet, but I think we are in a pretty good position since I think we are not having trouble even in some losing matchups in the bot lane. Like we go Bard versus Ira sometimes. So I think, I don't know, we're in a pretty good position, I think.
All right, now something I want to ask both you gentlemen, and we'll start with you this time around, Xerxes, because we haven't heard from you since I started the AD carry line of questioning. Fnatic coming up in their matchup versus Misfits. Who do you think has the edge here? Who's going to take the series overall?
I think both teams are strong, but okay, Misfits late game is quite questionable, and I think Fnatic's plays like solid overall. So I would say 2-1 for Fnatic.
All right, hand it over to you, Samix. What do you think is going to be the result between Fnatic and Misfits?
I think Misfits is going to win. I think they are a bit stronger.
All right, well, congrats again, gentlemen. We'll see different opinions. Have to see who is right in the end, but that's going to do it for us. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Fnatic versus Misfits.
Ed's going to get smited down by Xerxes, and they take the party portal out of there, straight into the fight to cut off Senkux. Splyce, they can't really hang tough right now. Too many big members. Samix was tanking a little bit. They've caught Kabi, and now Xerxes is going to be jumping in. Exile with an unstoppable kill to finish the job. Hylissang in the back is still hanging on, and now Kabi is in danger. Trashy, Senkux and all already died. Kabi goes down. There's no more damage left. Unicorns can look to close this one out.
Hylissang sacrifices his life for the greater good as UOL get 3 kills, and they're going to get game 3.